Hello Steelers, and welcome back to the Jungles of Malaya and the Driving Charge campaign, pint-sized campaign for Chain of Command. And I'm playing Chain of Command 2. As you can see, I still haven't got my copy of Chain of Command 2 yet whilst I'm filming this. It's probably out by the time this video has come out, but I'm just using the playtest version that Richard sent out to some of his playtesters. This is obviously based again on the Far East Handbook, which I strongly urge you to get if you're interested in this theatre. A brilliant handbook, well worth dipping into. But we're playing now the third scenario of the campaign. I've only just played the first one. I know what you're going to say. We should be going on to the second one. Well, what's actually happened is that the British forces, the Indian forces, the Punjabs were actually routed by the Japanese in the last one by capturing their line of communication. So it's actually pushed them back, and we don't actually fight in this campaign. Because of that, we don't fight the second scenario. We go straight on to the third. Unfortunately for the Japanese, because they had no armour in that first action, they don't get to do a driving charge. So this is actually the second campaign turn, although it's the third scenario. They've got 7 campaign turns to actually finish this campaign in total to achieve a major victory, I think it is. And basically, so far they're actually ahead of their schedule, so that's pretty good for them. This one's similar to the previous one. This time the British are trying to drop a bridge again, or at least it's the Gurkhas this time at Assun, and we're fighting up against Gurkhas. The Japanese platoon is the same. In the previous game, the Japanese actually only lost 3 men. Only one of them came from their core platoon. The other 2 men came from their support section that they put in. So they are actually ahead of the game, and one of them has returned. No, they've lost one of them. So they're basically from 45 other ranks, they're down to 44. So it's still a pretty tough, heavy meat platoon basically. So it might be again, it might be another walkover for the Japanese if they can play their cards right. But we shall see. What I'll do, as usual, I'll show you the table, we'll talk about the forces, we'll do the patrol phase, and then we'll just get on with this action. So this is our table at Assun. So the Indians are starting over here in this area. This is where the patrol marker is going to start. The Japanese are starting at the end of the table, pushing their way up through the Indian defences, or the Gurkha defences should I say. This is the bridge that the Gurkhas are trying to drop. They've got their little engineer team working away on that. It's going to be the same as before, where they need to roll a extra d6 with their dice, and just to with their command dice, and then get 20 points before they can then spend a chain of command point to drop the bridge. If they do that, they win the game. The Japanese, on the other hand, can push through, capture their line of communication, and also cause a rout as well. What I haven't shown here is that this part of the road here, from about here to about here, is actually raised, and this area in the centre is lower ground. So if you're up against the road, then it's pretty much light cover. But I'm just not sure. I can't show it on my table as it stands. But that's just something to remember. If I remember or not, we'll see. But yeah, so basically this is the table. Let's have a look at the forces. We'll do the patrol phase, and then I'll show you where the jump-off points are. Right, so here we got our Japanese forces. So we've got our platoon as before, each made up of 3 sections, and also a mortar section as well, made up of 3 mortars, knee mortars there. They've also got as well, they've taken as their supports, they've taken a couple of Chi-Ha tanks because they've captured the bridges in the previous scenario. So they brought up some armour, which is going to be very useful, I think. Then, meanwhile, they've also had put in an extra recce squad as well, because it's always worthwhile having just those meat units, really, just to bulk it all out a little bit. They've also gone for 2 ruses as well, which I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them yet, but I'm sure I will come up with some ideas for those. Meanwhile, here are the Gurkhas. So this is a very similar platoon. It's basically based on the same platoon as the Punjabs were. So it's like an Indian recruit platoon, which this is made up simply of 3 sections. 2 of them are just full of rifles. So there's about 11 men in there, 12 men in total, including the junior leaders. basically armoured rifles. The other section is the one that has an LMG in it. It's a Vickers Berthier LMG, not the Bren gun as I've got here. The Gurkhas were also wearing helmets as well in Malaya, so this is why I've chosen to use the British figures to show these Gurkhas rather than Sikhs in turbans. For their support, they've taken a roadblock, which I will put on the table. They've also got a 2-pounder gun because there's armour in the area. They're not stupid. They've also got a sniper team and also a 2-inch mortar as well, which is also a very good addition to any British platoon. Right, that's them. Let's do the patrol phase and let's crack on. Okay, that's the patrol phase done. So we've got our Gurkha jumping off points, one over here, as you can see, well, two over here in fact, and then another one there. So basically they spread a line across the back line just to give themselves a bit of flexibility when it comes to deployment. They've also got their line of communication marker over here, now down near Tiny where she's asleep, and I'm disturbing her. And we've also got the Japanese one. So we've got one here right on the very edge of the table. This is far forward as they could come. They've got another one here in the rubber plantation, and they have another one here. Wait a minute, there was one here, but what they've done is they've used one of their ruses to move it 18 inches forward, so it's actually up here by the bridge itself. Now they could move it forward, but as long as it's in cover and not within 12 inches of an enemy jumping off point. So they've now gone right up on the bridge itself, so fingers crossed they're going to be able to jump straight onto that bridge if that's the case. Right, let's go with the first turn, see what happens. So as you can see, the Japanese rolled pretty high for their force morale. They got a 6, so that gives them 11. The Gurkhas on the other hand rolled a 2, so that gives them 9. This is from Chain of Command 2, and I'd already rolled this before the patrol phase, so the Japanese got the first turn, so we're going to go straight onto their phase as well. Oh God, double 6 is a double phase for the Japanese, but that's in Chain of Command 2, gives the Gurkhas an extra Chain of Command point. So you don't get it for nothing. So we've got 2 3s, 2 4s. That's very useful. So they're going to start getting stuff on the table almost immediately. Possibly tanks, maybe even infantry. So the Japanese have used a 3 to get one of their Chihas on. I also forgot to put the roadblock on for the Gurkhas as well, but they put it on here at the edge of the bridge. And then I've also used a 3 to get their support section on, and they've gone on overwatch from their junior leader, so they're just basically there right next to the bridge. The plan is to get up onto that bridge almost immediately to shut down the engineers doing their thing, and if they can do that, then it's half the battle's won, I guess. Alright, well, let's see if that's hubris from me or they can continue their actions. Right, so 5 gives them a Chain of Command point. That's very useful. So they've now got 2 2s and 3 3s, which again is very useful for what they're wanting to do at this point, I think. So we'll probably get some more bits and pieces on and at least get that tank out and across the open areas. So first things first, the Japanese have not only rushed and taken the bridge at Assun, which has pushed back the engineers, meaning they can't do any more. They've also shut down the Gurkhas' first jumping off point, so that's leaving them 2 over on the right hand side there. They've then used a 3 to bring out another section, put them on overwatch, sit them over here. And then finally they brought forward their forward tank, and they've also deployed their second tank as well, the second Chiha. So they basically got both their tanks on, 2 sections on, and being very aggressive with the Japanese. I learned very quickly when I was playing this with decks this campaign that the Japanese have to be aggressive, and that's what I'm trying to do in this particular playthrough. Okay, right, the Gurkhas' first turn. Let's see what they do. I'm going to drop that the green dice because that was going to be for their engineers. Unfortunately for them, they've already been pushed off the bridge. Let's see what they get anyway. 6 does nothing for those poor lads, but they get a 5 and 2 3s. 2 3s is quite useful. It means they can get at least a couple of their sections out into the orchards, well, into the rubber plantations, and maybe start moving forwards to try to push the Japanese off that bridge. They've got to react now, basically. Right, we've got our first round of firing. So the Gurkhas have appeared here. in the orchard, well, it's rubber plantation, but it's light orchard, so they can actually fire out of it. They're in light cover when they do. They're going to fire at the Japanese on the bridge. They will then in turn get return fire from the ones that are on overwatch over here. But we're starting with them. It's only 11 rifles, so we'll roll for this, see what we get. And we're hitting on 4s up, so they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits in total. So that's going to be 3 on the LMG and then 4 on the rifles. So the LMG, light cover, 6 is a kill, 4, 5 shock. So we've got 1 kill already and also 2 shock, ouch. And then 4 hits on the rifles, same again. Ooh, that's 2 kills and another shock. So that's 3 kills in total. Is it a junior leader? See if it is. Yes, it is. He has been hit. What's happened to him? Let's roll for that. He has been KIA. So first shooting of the game, and automatically one of the Japanese leaders has been killed, along with a man from each of those teams. So I'll take those off as well. I'll just stick their shock on, and then we'll do the return fire from the Japanese. We've also got bad things happening for the Japanese. They've currently got Spirit of Bushido though, so they can actually take off 1 from their dice roll. So let's see, we roll the dice, it becomes a 4, and this is junior leader killed. It's still 2 points off their force morale, drops them down to 9, so ouch. These ones on Overwatch, they're going to come off Overwatch, and they are going to lay some fire down onto the Gurkhas as well. So they're hitting on 4s up because they're just within 18 inches, but they are in light cover. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits on the Gurkhas. The Gurkhas are just one team because it's just one section, 11 men, but just one section. So let's just roll for those. So 6 is the kills, 5 is shock. Bloody wow, that's 4 kills. Wow, and 1 shock. Wow, that is some shooting from the Japanese. I'll put that on first of all. Is one of those kills on their junior leader? Let's have a look. 5, no, so miraculously he has survived. So they've lost 4, so that drops them down to 7 men with 1 shock. Blimey, that is some shooting. So with the other 3, they've actually deployed their second section over here of the Gurkhas. These are firing at the Japanese that are in the jungles over there. It's light cover for the Japanese because it's just like scrub. But they're hitting on 5s and 6s. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. That's not brilliant, is it? They're in light cover, so 6 is a kill, 4, 5 is shock. So for the LMG team, it's a shock, and then for the rifles, that's 2 shock. So no kills, but 2 shock, 3 shock in total. Right, let's get on with the Japanese, see what they can, if they can pull something back. They've already taken quite a hit on that guy dying, so 6 does nothing for them on its own, but they have got 2 1s, 2 3s and a 4, so that's pretty useful actually, to get some put some mortar fire down and also get those tanks up as well to start churning up those Gurkhas, I think. First things first, the Japanese are using their mortars to fire at the Gurkhas. They've already taken a bit of hammer anyway. So they're just firing with 3 because he's a ranging shot first up. Needs 5s and 6s. It's out of sight, but it is a Storm of Steel bonus, so that's 1 hit with a 6. So we re-roll that, see if we hit again. And with 4, no we don't. So it's only 1 hit. Well, 1 hit might be enough. Let's just see. They reduce cover because they're in what are essentially orchards. It's a rubber plantation. So basically they're in the open. 3, so that is just 1 shock on them. Not a huge amount of damage, but damage still. And then next up we're going to use a 3 for this junior leader who's going to reduce shock by 1 point and then get them to fire at the Gurkhas once again, the ones that they, again, as I say, smashed up already. We're going to concentrate a lot of our fire on that particular unit, I think. So hitting on 4s up, on 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 hits again. They're in rubber plantation, 6 is a kill, 4, 5 is shock. So got 2 more kills and 2 more shock. So that takes their shock up to 4, so just quickly put that on there. And then they've got 2 more kills. Junior leader, he is in there. No, it isn't, so 2 more men. So they're now 4 shock on 6 men. So using their last 3, they've moved the tank forward. It is then firing covering fire from its vehicle machine gun against the Gurkhas in the plantation over here. If they are in cover, you can only fire covering fire against them from tanks. I think that's a new rule potentially. I think it's a new rule in Chain of Command 2. Right, so let's see how the Gurkhas get on with their next roll. So they've got a double 6, they've kept the phase, but they've got a 1 and a 3, so variable use, I think. Okay, using the 1, the Gurkhas have brought out their mortar. Using the 3, they're going to drop. They've dropped 1 shock off these guys, and they're going to fire at the Japanese on the bridge. So we're going to do that first. They've still only got 4 dice, but it's better than firing with the ones who are under covering fire, because they'll be hitting on 6s. Hitting on 4s up. Let's see, 1 hit. Maybe not, eh? They're in light cover. 6 is a kill, 4, 5 is shock. 6, it's another kill on their, well, the junior leader's gone, so it's going to take it off their one of their rifles. And then they are firing that light mortar. It's a ranging shot, so it's just firing 1 shot first of all. Needs a 5 or a 6 out of line of sight. 3 is missed, but at least it's got its ranging shot in. So the Japanese got their extra chain of command point for that double phase for the Gurkhas. I forgot to do it a minute ago. So let's see, they've got 6, 2 5s, so that takes them up to 4 in the chain of command points. Useful. And then a 4, which is a senior leader. I think they're just going to have to bring a senior leader out, aren't they, really, just to get some stuff happening. So the Gurkhas have deployed their Jemadar. So this is their senior leader. So he's actually got 3 activations in the jungle over here. He's not attached to anybody, but he's going to get these guys to fire again up at the Japanese on the bridge. He's also going to get the mortar to fire, and then get the final section down here to fire again over at the Japanese there in that jungle. So we'll start with the ones on the bridge. It's 4 rifles firing again. So let's see, hitting on 4s up. They are 2 hits. So on the rifles, it's a shock. On the LMG, it's another kill. My god, they are really picking away at them. So there's no point rolling to see if it's on the junior leader, because he's already gone. Let me just mark that with a deaden. Then we're firing with those with the light mortar, hitting on 5s up. That's 1 hit. It's a Storm of Steel hit as well, so roll again. That's 2 hits for the light mortar, so that reduces their cover from light down to in the open. So let's see, so 1 and a 3, so that is a shock. I'll put that shock just on the LMG team. And then we've got our final section firing across these chaps over here. These are hitting on 5s up. Japanese are taking some real hammer here today, aren't they? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 hits, so that's going to be 2 hits on each team in there. The Japanese have got to get those tanks in. So rifles, a 4 and a 3 is 1 shot because they're in light cover, and then on the LMG, you watch this, double 6, a 5 and a 3, so that's another shock. They can take shock, they can't take kills, but even so, still bad. Right, let's go for it. See what we get. Japanese have got 3 chain of command points, so that's 1. That is a lot of chain of command points. That takes them straight up to 5. That's very useful because they can use ruses and all kinds of things now. But anyway, we've got 2 4s and a 2. The useful, maybe not. We'll see. Okay, I have formulated a plan, so let's just see if it survives contact with the enemy. So first of all, we brought out our Gunzo. He has joined this section. He is then going to give them some beating until morale improves, and basically he can do this once in a game. You roll the dice. If he rolls a 6, he's killed someone. Otherwise, that's how many points of shock you take off. They're at 4, so there's a good chance they'll get rid of all of it, but there's also a chance he might kill someone. So let's see what he gets. So 5, so that actually reduces all of their shock. So that doesn't actually cost him any activations, which is nice. So he then will get them to fire at the section over here, the Gurkhas. They will also, he's also within command range of the ones on the bridge, so he's going to get them to fire as well. That's going to be pretty desultory fire, but they're going to try to fire. But first of all, we're also going to use our 2 to then fire the mortars at those Gurkhas in the plantation. So we're going to start with that first of all. These are hitting with Storm of Steel bonuses, so let's have a look. We've got only 1 hit, but it is a Storm of Steel hit. So we roll again for that, and that's a miss, so it's just one hit. But the reduce, they go down to light cover, so it goes down to in the open, doesn't it, because they're in the orchards. But a 4 becomes a shock, slowly picking away at them. As I say, I'm trying to really concentrate fire as much as possible on that one section, just to try to reduce them or break them. Then we're going to move on to the chaps on the bridge. They have 5 rifles plus 1 box LMG, but they do have 5 shocks, so we take 2 off. These are hitting on 4s up, so let's see how well they do. And these have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits. I'm laughing because that was a lot more than I was expecting. So that's 6 hits on those Gurkhas in the trees. So 6 is the kills, 4, 5 is shock for these ones. That's cocked, so I'll just re-roll that. We've got 3 shock, 1 kill, so that shock now is on 7. That might be enough. Well, that's pinned them at least. That kill is on junior leader or not? Yes, it is. What has happened to him? Let's roll to see. He has been knocked out. No, he's had his command reduced by 1. So that's him wounded. I'll just put a marker on him to help me remember. But that's a bad thing's happened for the Gurkhas. So we will roll that immediately. They have got a 3. Junior leader wounded. Takes them down to 8. Then we're opening fire with the other section over here. So this has got a box machine gun and 8 rifles. So quite a lot in there. So these are hitting again on 4s up. So let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hits this time on those poor Gurkhas. So rolling these, 6 is the kills, 4, 5 is shock once again. Ouch, that is 4 kills and only 2 shock on them, so that takes them up to 8 shock. Sorry, 9 shock. So just put that down there. And we've got 4 kills. Is it one of those on the junior leader? 3, yes it is. So let's see what happens to him. He is wounded again, so that is him killed. So we'll take him off, and we said 4 hits, didn't we? 1, 2, 4. That has definitely broken them. There's only 2 men left in there, so they are going to be fleeing into the woods. And that's 2 bad things happen. So that is a junior leader killed and also a section broken. So junior leader killed first of all is a 5. That is immediately 2 points off, so that drops them straight down to 6. Then we've also got section broken as well. Roll again. That's a 3. That is 1 point off, so that drops them down to 5. Not enough to start reducing their command, but their command dice, but it certainly has given them a very bloody nose. Let's see how far away they actually run. I'll just move them as well. So they move 8 inches plus 6, so that's 14 inches away. And then as a final action, the Japanese have put out a 3rd section using that too, just from this jumping off point here. And these are on the other side of that berm. They're tactical, so that actually takes them up to hard cover. What I'm hoping to do with them is at least move them down towards the line of communication marker and try and close off the Gurkhas' lines of retreat. So the Gurkhas are getting a bit of a bad time of it, but let's see what they get anyway. So they've got a 6, they've got a 3 and 2 4s. Reasonably useful, I think, but let's see what they do with them. Okay, so it's some desperate times, but the Gurkhas have deployed their 2-pounder gun in the plantation. It's going to take a shot at the Chiha over here. So basically, we'll work our way through that. Then we're going to get the senior leader to get everybody else to fire as well afterwards. But we'll do the firing with the tank first of all. Right, first of all, it is in the open. So we basically need a 5 to hit on 2d6. That is 9, so that's a hit. The gun has got a strike value of 5. The tank has got a defense value of 3. Only got 3 armor. So we're looking for 5s and 6s on these, and then we just see what the difference is really. So we're looking at 5s and 6s for everybody because it's front armor. So the tank has saved 1. The gun has done 1 penetrating hit, so it's 1 for 1. It's equal hits and saves, so we basically just roll the dice, see what happens. It's a 6. The tank immediately drives straight ahead at flat out speed. Any obstacles will be avoided. So he's panicked, so let's see how far forward it comes. Oh, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. That's 14 inches. So let's just bring that forward. It's a good thing for the Japanese, right? So it's brought it literally up onto the creek itself there. So it's got to here, so he's just gone straight ahead. But yeah, that's brought it closer to the Gurkhas themselves. And then we got some firing. This is coming from their senior leader. He is getting a mortar to fire at these chaps over here. 5 or 6 on the bridge. 1 hit on those guys on the bridge. 4, 5 is a 6. 5 or 6 is a kill. 3, 4 is shock. So it's just 1 shock. I didn't say which one it was going on, so I'm going to put the shock onto there just to even it out. Keep forgetting to state which of these are being hit, but they're still on. They're on 6 shock now. Then we're firing with the rifles at the guys over here. There is a gunzo in there as well, so potentially he could get hit. Hitting on 5s and 6s. 1, 2, 3, 4 hits though. So that's going to be 2 hits on each team. So let's have a look. So LMG team, double 6, 2 kills, and rifle team a 4 and a 5. So that is 1 shock on the rifles and 2 kills on the LMG. So there's the shock on the rifles. Is that hit on junior or senior leader? No, it isn't. So he has just taken out 2 of the crew of the LMG. So back to the Japanese. Let's see what damage they can do. Right, so they've got themselves a chain of command point. That takes them up to 1 full chain of command dice. It's useful. And they've got a 1, a 2, a 3 and 2 4s. Again, all pretty useful stuff actually, I think. Right, so the Japanese have used their inferior senior leader, their gunzo. He has ordered the section over the road to start moving up down the road. So they're behind the bridge. They can't be seen by any of the Gurkhas at this point. He's also going to get them to fire. I was going to reduce their shock, but it's better to get them to fire. They're going to fire at the 2-pounder. We're also going to be firing with our mortars at the 2-pounder as well. New target, so they're only be firing 3 dice. And then the tank is going to fire everything it can, well, high explosive into the Gurkhas down here. And then also the second one is it's going to be firing covering fire in front of them. So we'll put that down now. So we'll start with the fire of the tank first of all. It's only got 4 AP, but it's pretty useful, hitting on 4s up. So let's see. We've hit with 2 of them. They were exploding dice, but they're not anymore. This is just a normal unit, so there's only 1 team in there. So they are in orchards, so it basically causes them, they then become in the open. So 6 is a kill, 3, 4 is shock, 5, 6 is kill, sorry. So they've taken 1 shock, so not particularly great firing, but at least they're under covering fire as well. Right, then we've also got our section over here. These are firing at the 2-pounder. It is in light cover because it's got a shield, so let's see what happens. These are hitting on 4s up. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 hits. Wow, 11 hits, and there's only 6 men in there. So these are in light cover, so 6 of the kills. Actually, they're in hard cover because they're all light cover behind the gun shield, but they're also in the orchards, which is also light cover, so it doubles up to hard cover. So 6 is kill, 5 is shock. But they've killed 3 of them and caused 2 shock. Is that kill on a junior leader? Yes, he's been hit. What's happened to him? He has been wounded. So junior leader wounded. Let's just roll for that, see what they get for their bad things happen. That's a 4. Here's another point off. That drops them down to 4 on their force morale. Ooh, not looking good for him, is it? And then we move on to the mortars firing as well. So 3 mortars hitting on 5s and 6s. Ooh, that's 2 storm of steel hits, but 1 miss. So we roll 2 more. See what they get. That's a 4 and a 3, so it's only 2 hits. These will reduce them down to light cover because they are in the plantation, but also behind gun shields. So they're in light cover. 6 is a kill, 4, 5 is shock. That's 1 kill. Is it the junior leader again? No, it isn't. So it's another crewman. So they're now down to 2 crew in there. So the Gurkhas are down to 4 on their force morale, which means they now have 3 dice. They've also lost a jumping off point as well, so I've taken one off. It's one of the ones in the orchard. They may as well keep the other one off because it doesn't matter. They're not going to be jumping off from it anyway, so let's just see what they get. 6 does nothing on its own, senior leader at least, and a 2 is a section. So first things first, they've used their remaining workable jumping off point to deploy a section here. These are not going to fight immediately, they're moving up the road, up to the road to try to stop that Japanese attack down the road after last time. So that's what they've done, and then they're going to use their senior leader, who's hiding somewhere in here in the orchard, and he's going to activate not only the 2-pounder gun but also the section as well that he's with. Right, so we're starting with a 2-pounder. This is from the senior leader. He's going to get a 2-pounder to fire again at the Chiha. It is now hitting on a 7 because, yeah, a 7 because it started with a 5. It's got 2 shock, so that takes it up to 7. It didn't move flat out in its last phase, but it did the phase before. So that's a 5, that's a miss. Right, great work, lads. And then we're moving on to the rifles, and there's 11 of them, and they are now hitting on 6s though, because they're under covering fire and they're firing at long range against these guys here. But they're hit 3, so that's they've been pretty good as sharpshooters, if nothing else. So that's 3 hits. So 2 on the rifles, so 3 and a 3, that's nothing. They're in light cover, and then a hit on the LNG, and that's 2. That's a nothing as well. So desultory fire there from the Gurkhas. Right, the Japanese are up next, and let's see what they get. Okay, that one is cocked, so I'm just going to re-roll it. That's another. Well, okay, right. That is, well, 2 6s, so they retain the phase. The 6 on the green is ignored, but they've got 2 5s, so that's another 2 chain of command points. Very useful. Saving that one for something special if they manage to get to the line of communication. And a 4, which is senior leader, so that's most likely going to be the Gunzo, reduce shock, and then just get maybe another section moving. Okay, so our Gunzo has got this other section to move again further down that road. Meanwhile, he's getting the section he's with to then fire at the 2-pounder once again, which is down here in the plantation. So hitting it on 4s up, and it is in hard cover, we recall. Hitting on 4s up though, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits on it. Not as good as last time, but everything counts. So killing on 6, shocking on 5. So we've got 2 kills, 1 shock, so that takes their shock up to 3, and they have only 2 more men in there, but one of them might be the junior leader. Let's just see. 1 or 2. Yes, the junior leader is hit again. He's already wounded. So what has happened to this fella? He is knocked out. So there is 1 crewman left on that gun. The junior leader is knocked out, so we roll for him to see what happens to him. He's stunned. He's a 4. He's another point off the Gurkhas. They're down to 3 now. Ouch, this is not looking good, is it, at all for them? So yeah, we'll move on to the next phase for the Japanese. Right, let's see then where we're at with the next Japanese turn. Another double 6. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. But we've also got 2 1s, a 3 and a 5, so another chain of command point. They are building those up, and then they've got 2 1s, which is could be a section, could be a or it could be a couple of teams. I'm not sure yet. Okay, for the Japanese, they have basically they've used a 3, got their junior leader to charge these guys at the double down the road towards our line of communication marker. They're really close to it now. They've taken a shock. He's removed 1 shock, and that's it. They are bombing it because they've got another phase, so they're hoping that they can get another phase in and then end the turn at the end of next phase. But then we're also going to be firing with our mortars as well now. And of course, when I say we, I mean the royal we, but I mean the Japanese. So they're going to fire down here with their mortars, hitting on 5s and 6s, 6s this time. There's more chance of killing if they do this, that's why I'm doing it. Oh, bloody hell. I say that right, we've got 2 hits, 5 hits in total, of which 3 are Storm of Steel bonus hits, so they may also occur more hits. So we've got 5 hits on this poor old 2-pounder. and no more hits on them, but 5 is blind. That's enough. Anyway, right, so they're basically they are in light cover, aren't they, because they're behind gun shields. So kills on 6, otherwise it is wounding, or it's shocking on 5s. 4 5s, 3 kills. So that's wiped out the entire gun. That's got to be a hit on the junior leader because there's nobody else in there. So he's been hit again, so let's see what happens to him. He's knocked out and wounded already. Killed. So that's another bad thing happened for them. That's a 3 on junior leader killed. It's just 1 point off. That drops them down to 2 though, meaning their dice are now reduced to 2. Ouchie. So I'll just clear off that gun in a second, but yeah, good work for the Japanese there. Right, okay, so the Japanese next phase. So let's see, they've got it's double 6, but one of them's green, so I don't count. They've got a 2 5s, so that gives them another 2 chain of command points, up to 5, so they've got 11, 11 at the moment. And they've also got 3, which they're going to use on their senior leader, junior leader. He's going to get them in to run forward once again onto that line of communication marker, so let's see how far they get with that. So the Japanese section has made it onto the line of communication marker. They've also then ended the turn, which if you end the turn on a line of communication marker, it ends the game, and the poor old Gurkhas will disappear in a rout. What is left of them actually? Well, 2 full squads. You've got these guys and you've got these guys over here, 2 sections of them. That 2-pounder was knocked out, that's gone. But they've got a senior leader kicking about somewhere in here, and yes, all their men were on the table apart from their senior leader. But yeah, that was the end of a pretty hard fought game actually, and that was really hard for the Japanese to push forward once they got onto that bridge. The Gurkhas really created a pretty hard stop line that took quite a lot of damage on the Japanese themselves. So these poor guys over here took quite a lot of damage, and we've got a couple of losses as well in here from the core platoon as well. So yeah, they didn't get their 4th section on the table, but that doesn't really matter because they still push through, and that is the epitome of a driving charge. So that means they can then force a driving charge and then move on to, in the same campaign turn, which is campaign 2, onto the next scenario. So they're actually pushing forward really quickly, aren't they, at this point? Well, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that game. That was great. Very different to the first time we played it with decks again, but yeah, it was thrills and spills all the way through, and I thought the Gurkhas might just hold on there, but unfortunately for them they didn't. I mean, their force morale was down on 2 anyway, but the Japanese, you know, certainly gave them something to think about, unfortunately for them. But as I say, I hope you've enjoyed it. I certainly did. I will see you in the next Storm of Steel video.